Hello, I'm Larry Dixon, and this is a conversation with First Baptist Church. With me today is Garrick Ratliff.
Hey.
Garrick, I always like to get a little background on people during our conversations. So tell me about what growing up for you was like.
Oh, growing up for me. I was born in Chicago, Illinois. I lived there till I was 13. Mom and dad, my whole family, aunts, uncles, everybody were born and raised in Pike County. And so I was born there and I lived there about 13. Then we moved back to eastern Kentucky to Letcher County, Jenkins, around the border of Pike County and Letcher. A lot of people go, oh, it's a huge culture shock. No, not really, because for vacations we come back home and visit family. So I was kind of used to the area. But what I found out is people weren't really used to me. Because, I always tell people I lived in the best of both worlds. I lived in the most urban area in the United States and the most rural. So I've seen the best of both. But people, my wife being one, thinks everything, here's a city boy. And I never, and to this day, I lived in Kentucky for 40 years and still considered a city boy. In fact, at the school system I was at before I came to Craft, we had a challenge to our students who were taking the state test. If they did very well on it, I would milk a cow. They pulled a cow out in the middle of the gym, had all the students come in, and I went out there and milked the cow because they didn't think the city boy could do it. Done, and I took a little Dixie cup, got some milk out and drank it. And then I thought, well, okay. And there's the city boy in me came out and said, all right, I just drank unpasteurized milk. What, is something going to happen to me? Am I going to be okay? Stuff like that. So, but yeah, it was a huge a change, especially for people who thought city boy when I first moved down.
Well, what brought you to Morehead?
Morehead State University. I was going to go, and this is my thing. This is me in high school. I was going to go to UK so I can get ball tickets. And that. And the funny thing was when we moved down from Chicago, I told Dad, because Mom and Dad was UK Wildcat fans, because they grew up in Kentucky. So I asked him, I said, well, are we going to go to any games? And my dad just laughed and said, no, UK ball tickets isn't like Chicago Cubs tickets. You can't get a good seat on game day. I was going to go there and I started visiting colleges, visited Transylvania and things like that. And then we're driving up here. My mom and dad was driving up here with me, and I had never been to Morehead. And I came here and I was like, oh, this is great. I like to ask, well, I'll come here a couple years and then I'll transfer. I came here and ended up loving it, loving the people, got involved and didn't want to leave. And I'm still here today. So that's where I met Janet. That's where I met my wife, Janet. We met in college here and stuff. So, yeah. Well,
Outside of church, what is your passion, your hobby? What is it you like to do?
I like to play, before COVID, I was playing basketball with a bunch of professors on campus. Golf, play golf. I like to read and research. I'm always, like right now I'm doing research. One thing I did over COVID, I took my dissertation and I'm making it into a book. So I'm doing research and things like that. That's what I like to do, is kind of keep up and see how we can help students, especially K through 12. Help them with their problems. I actually just spent time with Janet and Garrison. Garrison, 18, he just graduated high school. He's not going too far away. He's going to Morehead. But the funny thing is, Janet and I and he all agree that he doesn't need to live at home. He needs to live in the dorm on campus. So, we're like, you need to live in the dorm. He goes, oh yeah, I'm not living here. It's so he agrees. So yeah, but so that's some of the things I like to do. Work outside a lot. So
okay.
Yeah.
Everyone has a bucket list.
Mm-hmm. Oh.
Ooh, what's on your list? What is it?
Oh my gosh.
You won the lottery. What would you do? What's on the bucket list?
All mine's kind of sports related. I like to go to a World Series, especially if the Cubs are playing it. A Super Bowl, something like that. Something. But I'll tell you one bucket list I like to do. And Jen and I talked about it. I want to take a trip across country. We talked about doing it. I don't want to do it by airplane because you can't see. I like to do it by train because usually when we go across country, I drive and I miss everything. You can't see. I like to do it by train, and Jen and I talked about, one thing I like to do when we retire is maybe get an RV and just travel. and do that. There's a train trip that starts in Chicago that goes all the way down to Flagstaff, Arizona, over the Pacific Coast Highway, goes up, comes across the Rockies back to Chicago. I'd like to do that, and on a train that has observation decks and stuff like that. I think that'd be pretty neat. And you can stop and spend a few days in certain areas. So I'd like to do that. That's one of the bucket lists too.
Okay. What brought you to First Baptist Church?
Well, funny story. When I was an undergraduate here, I was also at a fraternity called Sigma Phi Epsilon, where I still have a lot of good friends there. And one of my good friends was Trip Grissinger. His mother and father went to church here. He went to church here. And we had a huge influx of pledges one year. We had like 60. It was the most we ever had and most MSU has ever seen. But we had to induct them. And we have a ceremony, a ritual we do. And part of our ritual, the Bible is in our ritual. And we had to have a big place to do it. We always have done it somewhere, on campus, but we didn't have a place big enough to do it. And he said, well, why don't we do it at our church, at my church? And I said, okay, if we could do that. So Tripp had talked to Don. Don said, sure. So we had areas set up in church. We had, one up here in the sanctuary, one down the fellowship hall. And we had another one, I think, over somewhere else. I can't remember. I think it might have been upstairs. But anyway, so we came and we spent all day on a Saturday, inducting our new members. And we were done. We were cleaning up stuff like that. And I told Tripp, and we took a look around, and I said, "Is this your church?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "This is nice." He goes, "Well, why don't you come to church with me tomorrow?" And I said, "Well, yeah, I can come and thank, Don for letting us do this and things like that." So I came to church the next day and sat there and talked with Don and said, "Hey, thank you for letting us use this." And I had a really good conversation. But the one thing that really drew me back was growing up in Eastern Kentucky. You always had those the Bible thumpers, the ones that you got to do this, be this, do this, or you're going to hell. Not here. Don, teaches you this is the way people lived back then. This is why they did these things, and you understood why things happened in the Bible, the parables, why they, what they were trying to teach, what Jesus was trying to teach, how to, learn Jesus through, a different light and kind of walk in his shoes. My dad always said when he came to church here, when he and my mother were in town, he always said, Don, and the other pastor we had since Don, he's a teaching preacher. He goes, I like that. You learn more. And that's what you're here for. You want to learn, you want to know. You just don't want to be scared to do something. You want to be able to do it out of love and out of curiosity and things like that. So, and that's the first thing that had me come back.
Garrick, of all the characters in the Bible, except for Jesus, who would you like to spend the day with at a picnic table over fried chicken?
Well, I saw that question and I thought about it. And I thought, well, the one person that comes to mind is David, because of everything that David has done, and everything that the Bible kind of highlights all the faults he did, but he did some good things too. I'd want to know, why he was God's chosen, king, and also Jesus is in his lineage. So I'd want to sit down and just see what kind of person he is, and to be all across the spectrum of bad things, good things that he's done. Just want to know why. Why did you do this? Well, why did you do this kind of thing? And you just get to know the character of David. So I think that'd be, for me, that'd be the one. To sit down and talk with fried chicken, if you liked it. If you're not, hey, more for me.
So if you were inviting someone to come to First Baptist Church and they were looking for a home church, what would you tell them about this church? How friendly and how open we are. The one reason why we stay, myself and my wife included, is because we know everybody. Everybody's friendly. We're all not the same, but we can talk about that. We've talked about a lot how some people have different opinions, political opinions. Opinions about different things, but we're able to discuss those in a friendly manner and still be cordial and still love one another. In this day and time, that's getting very rare. This is also, like I said, it's teaching. It's a teaching church. You learn. If you're open-minded, you can come here and learn about. Okay, here's the other side. You know, here's the side of this, here's the side of this. You can learn, and without even being judged. Is the best. You know, you're not judged. It's open arms. We'll help you. That kind of feeling. If you want a church that's like that, if you're just coming just to get fulfilled for one day, no. You know, you come here. You know, you're fulfilled for a lifetime.
I'm Larry Dixon, and this has been a conversation with First Baptist Church.